Hey guys, Snake Doc back here. Gonna do a unboxing video. This is a Girsan imported by Zenith Firearms, which is no longer importing these. And judging just by this box, those of you that may know a lot about different firearms that are available and maybe a video that you've seen, these red boxes are what is called the MC28, and this happens to be the compact version. So let's go ahead and pull this out. And this is the compact version, which has a 3.82 inch barrel, so a sub 4-inch barrel. The full size one has a beaver tail, and it is a 4.25 inch pistol. They both have the same grip frame, so you could say that this is similar to the new Glock 45 or 19X, where it has a full-length grip frame with a compact slide on top. So we'll call this a poor man's Glock 19X / 45. And what we're going to do today is we're going to compare it to my Glock 17 that has been cut to a Glock 19 grip length. And we'll show the differences in slide length and grip length and kind of show the differences there. We're also going to try using a magazine that I have for my SAR ST10, which holds 18 rounds, and we're going to see if that fits in to this grip frame and locks in, because the mag catch notch looks very similar. You can see that what I find puzzling on this is you can see that there's a notch on this side and a notch on this side. Well, if you drew a straight line across them, this side one would be higher. Yet they say this magazine release is reversible. So how is that possible? If you flip that over, one notch is sitting higher than the other, and it's the same notch. How is that going to work? You think it would raise or lower the mag depending on which side's what. So I'm confused about that, but I'm not going to reverse the mag catch because I'm not left-handed. So let's see. So I'm going to show 3 holster options that I have that are universal type holsters, and one is for a Glock, but it's a leather holster, so I believe it's going to work on this. It has worked on FNS 9s and other things like that, so it should be fine. So as you can see, that this is basically an MMP clone for the most part with a Glock style trigger. So it has replaceable back straps. There's 2 extra ones here in the box, a large and a small, and the medium and the large have this palm swell. This is a rubberized material, so it does have a little bit of friction to it, but it's not horrible. It's very similar to, if you've ever held a HK P2000, it's very similar to that type material. This part right here is really slick on both sides, so I haven't decided yet if I'm going to throw some like GT5000 grip tape in there, whoops, or if I'm going to, my wife got sawdust all over this table, so apparently I just picked some up. Or if I'm going to stipple it, because right now, if you go to CDNN Sports, they have this gun in the compact size on sale for $199. I don't know if they sold out. I don't know if that sale's still on, but it was on this weekend, and I jumped on it because I wanted a toolbox gun that I could just beat up on and stick in a place and not really care what happens to it. So I didn't have one of those currently. This is a Cerakote finish on the slide, supposedly over Parkerizing. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. And I believe the barrel is Cerakoted too, which I wish they would have done the barrel in black instead of the silver, but whatever. The sight cuts look like M&P sights should work. M&P use a really wide flat rear and that narrow front. I do plan on ordering a high-vis fiber optic front for an M&P and trying to fit it on there, so if it does work, I will definitely make a video of that for you guys. The other thing you can see is that on the M&P they use a set screw on their rear sight, and this does not. This is just pressure fit in the dovetail. Very similar to the SD9VE. It has a exposed chamber hole so that you can see when you do have a live round in there. Takedown lever is exactly like your M&P, including the little bit of protrusion of the roll pin and the relief cut right there that when that swings down, it stops right there. True 1913 Picatinny rail. And so the magazines look like Metgars for CZs with the blue followers. It doesn't say Metgar on it anywhere, so it could be ACT or who knows. One thing that did stick out to me, I don't know if that's showing up right there, but it looks like these base pads, which are marked for Zenith, the importer, which is strange, rather than Girsan, it looks like this was the mold tab, like when you have a model. Like that's like they just rocked them back and forth until it snapped off, and then they threw it on the base or on the mag as the base plate. Let's see if the other one's that's got something on it. Yep, that one has one too. So I'm gonna assume they all do. But you know what happens when you assume, right? Yep, that one's got it too. So that's gonna require a little bit of sanding. You know, you can just use the multi-surface nail file and polish that up nicely, just because it's a pretty rough edge right there. So let's see. When I got this, it was completely bone dry. You can see we're dealing with an empty pistol here, and I just took the magazine out. And the trigger is extremely gritty. Let's see if you can hear this, and I'll show you why when I take this apart. So here's the trigger brake. You can see that there's take up. Here's the wall, and then it's a really nice brake. But watch the reset. If we can listen, there's two sounds, and it sounds like it reset there, and that time it did. So let's try that again. See that one? That one was nothing. See, I'm pulling, there's nothing. That was the true reset. So let's do that again. That one, nothing. That one's the real one. So I'm not sure why that is. Let's take it down real quick, and I will show you how the internals are very similar to a M&P, but they're slightly revised. So we're just going to fold that down there. We're going to bring that back to here, and then you do have to pull the trigger to get that to slide off. So first thing that we're going to notice is it's a regular style, you know, your retractable striker, spring loaded. It's a really stout spring, so that's a crazy amount of pull to get that striker to retract. So if a Glock striker spring fits on this striker, that might be one way to get a little bit of a trigger reduction. The other thing that's disappointing to me is that when they Cerakoted, it looks like they possibly Cerakoted it with the striker out, but they had the striker block in, because just like on M&Ps, it is held via a spring and a plate underneath that rear sight. And if you've seen the other colors of this, they Cerakote the stinking sights. So like the Coyote tan one and the green one, the slide was coated and the sights were coated the same color as the slide. So I'm going to assume that's what they did, and then they coated the striker plunger safety, which is going to give you friction points. So I'm going to take the Dremel with the finest buffing wheel that I have. I think I have a really narrow felt wheel that's going to fit in there, and I'm going to hit that with Jeweler's Rouge and clean that up and get a mirror polish on that. This is a steel guide rod, and we're going to compare that to the Glock 17 recoil spring length and see if that would be a replacement part. But it looks like a Glock recoil spring might work on that. Whether it be the 19 one or the 17 one, we'll have to see. But regular Browning lockup, a little bit of that ramp there on the front. You can see I put some lubrication right there because, like I said, this was bone dry. Let's move on to the frame really quick. So if you guys watch, there's a video done by the channel Do It Right. Something happened with his channel. I don't know, he's going through something right now, or something happened to his videos, but he showed the internals on here, and you can see that this is basically an M&P setup where the spring is in the front down here, the trigger spring is down in the front, ejectors here, and then even if you look at the sear housing block, It looks very M&P like. Now what you'll notice is the sear is like Parkerized, which is odd. And the trigger bar is Parkerized, and it's really big and thick. And what you'll see here is there's a diamond shape right there that presses against the plastic frame, and that's where the grit comes in. So it keeps the trigger bar tracking. Let's put a mag in there and I'll show you. So you can see how it rides there. Now that trigger bar is super thick, so I'm not sure that that little triangle is even necessary, but if I go ahead and disassemble that, you better believe I'm going to polish the front side of that triangle. Because if you, let's see if we can get the grit. So that is rubbing on the inside of that plastic polymer frame right there. And then the way that this operates, this polished part right here, which came factory polished, depresses that striker plunger that's in the slide. And then there's a peg on the end of that trigger bar that rides a little ramp on the sear, and watch the sear, it pushes it down. So the trigger bar is riding on the top portion of that ramp, and as it rides up the ramp, it depresses that sear. So they say that it's retracting it before it releases, but I don't see how it could possibly be retracting it because that sear goes straight down. It doesn't go on an arc like this as it goes down. It goes like this. So to me, you're dealing with a fully tensioned striker, and then all it's doing is the sear is dropping out of the way, and then it's slamming it home once it clears the striker block. So I hope you understand what I just said there. Most people that have messed around with guns long enough like this understand that the Glock the Glock retracts the slide a little bit, or retracts the sear a little bit. The cruciform comes back and then it goes down. So that does pull the striker back the rest of the way before letting go of it. Whereas this one looks like it's fully tensioned, which is very similar to the way that the Springfields work. So I'm going to close up this case and get this out of here. Let's check out that magazine thing. Let's compare it to the Glock and check out the holsters. So let me get this stuff out of the way quick. It's a pretty nice manual. It's available in a PDF format online too if you look around. So let's look at holsters really quick. So this is a Acre holster. It says it's for the Glock 20, but I actually cut the front of this because it was super long. So I'm gonna take this sticker off. And it's a little bit of a tight fit. You can see it retracted the slide a little bit, but I think it would be okay. So what I'm thinking is that this depth right here must be more than what a Glock is. So I really do kind of have to ram that home to make that fit there. So it covers the trigger guard. It looks like it'd be safe. It'd be a decent inside the waistband option. There's probably an M&P one would fit better because this is basically identical to the M&P dimensionally. This is the 578 GLS. This is the long version. This is made by Safariland, and this should work right away. Yep, so that's in there and it's locked. So all you do on this one is you just depress that grip button, and that's going to work fine. So this is a great wintertime holster if you have a big coat, or just an awesome range holster. So this has, you know, Safariland, the three screw setup. You can change it to any of the various mounting options that they have. I've got a video on this holster. I really love it. So, and last but not least, this is one of the Stealth Operator holsters. These are really cheap if you look online, but man, this thing is sweet. So many guns fit this. I've used this for Glock, HK. I've put a 1911 in here. I've put a Walther PPQ and a PPS in there, and I converted mine from the ridiculous belt loops to speed clips because I just love speed clips, easy on and off. So let's check this out. Yep, that works great. Locks in. That is rock solid in there, and that'll be an easy draw once it's on my belt. But yeah, that's a perfect fit. My word. So there's that. Let's go ahead and throw a tack light on there. This is just a cheap one, but is one that I have not mounted to anything right now. So let's see how that looks. Sorry, this video is a little bit long. And it doesn't look like this one's going to work because the back end of this is super long from where the Picatinny rail spring-loaded bar is, and it's not even going to reach to the first mount. So let's, you would need a different light for that, and I'm not going to go get my X300. So that light, if you have this light right here, this long one with this button back here, that is not going to work on this Picatinny rail. So how about we check out, this is the SAR Salmas magazine. This is, I think it's marked 15 rounds. It holds 18 if you watch my video on the SAR. And that just locked in. Does not hold the slide open. But that locks in and ejects. So there's an 18 round mag. So basically, again, referring back to my Glock 19X or Glock 45 statement, this would be an 18 round capacity on a standard magazine well with a flush fitting mag and a sub 4-inch barrel and a compact size slide. So this is a full firing grip, and you can see that I do have a little bit of excess frame down here. Whereas on a Glock 19, which I'll show you on my chopped one right here, that would end right about here. So that's interesting that works. So that'll be a good reference. I'm not sure why the follower doesn't, the follower is just a hair low to push the slide lock up. But as long as you count your rounds, it'd be a great range mag. Alright, so let's check out. I'm gonna leave the mags out because I don't have a Glock mag right next to me right now. And so sight top to sight top, you can see there is, boy, that's probably that's almost 3/4 of an inch, I would guess, of a height difference there from a 19. But you gotta remember, a Glock magazine base plate is really thick, whereas these are paper thin. And the factory one here is still thinner than a Glock magazine base. So we can look at slide length here, and you can see that the 17 is much longer, more so than the difference between the 17 to the 19. If you look at Graham Bates' video, he holds this up to a Glock 19, and this is just a hair shorter in length, slide length, than a Glock 19, which a 3.82 inch barrel, and I think the Glock 19 barrel is like 3.98 or 4 inches exactly, something like that. So I think that pretty much covers it. What we're going to do real quick is throw it on a scale since I have it sitting right here and show that. Let's try and get that out of the glare again. So let that zero out on ounces. We're going to put this on there, and we have 24.80. Let's compare that to a chop 17, 22.43. So about 2.4 ounces heavier. And it does feel a little top heavy. So it is a really thick slide. I mean, look at how much extra mass there is around that rear striker plate as opposed to the Glock. So overall, I think it's pretty cool. I'm gonna try, like I said, I'm gonna try throwing that high vis sight on the front for an M&P. Hopefully that'll fit, and then I'll probably black out my rear dots because I can't stand white dots with a fiber optic front. And I'll throw together a shooting video, and I'll probably even load up this SAR mag with 18 rounds and fire that through here just for reference. So I appreciate you guys watching, and always shoot safe.